Really happy to have Johnny here. Please, give it up for Johnny Sampson.
Thank you, thank you. Give it up for David Alvarado. Hi. Thank you for the introduction, Brad and Matt. I think I'm going to read it from the screen. Right?
Yep.
Okay. This is called Truly Madly by Johnny Sampson. Yeah, okay. Keep up with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. This is a comic about making comics. Not like this one, though. These are the worst. Wow, I'm a stupid cartoonist. I don't know what to draw. No, this is a comic about making comics and the unexpected places they can end up taking you. This is a true story. This is my first autobio, by the way. In the fall of 2013, I did an illustration for the debut issue of the Pitchfork Review. I was asked to do a fold-in, Al Jaffe's iconic creation for Mad Magazine, which he's been doing since 1968. And he's still doing it. Truly. The idea was to call attention to the preposterous notion of starting a print publication in this day and age. And this guy's saying, print is the future, up with paper, ding, ding, ding. All right. So from the beginning to end, it remains one of my most favorite assignments. You're not like the other gigs, you're special. And it looked like this. So this is the fold-in, and this is in the Pitchfork Review, like I said. And so it says, what outdated endeavor is making a comeback with today's enterprising hipster? And you can go to my website if you want to read all the shit. But so anyway, you fold it in, and it's this. It's the magazine. So it was a send-up of hipster culture, vintage vinyl, retro cassettes, artisanal anything. Folded in, it revealed a portrait of Al Jaffe reading a magazine on the toilet. The review came out, and it looked great. It was packed full of top-notch talent. I was honored to be included. Thanks, Mike. Proud of my accomplishment, I sent a copy to Al himself, along with a gushing note, saying that was done with the highest reverence for him. I'm sorry, I'm going to freak out with this. So, as they say, all apologies, Mr. Jaffe. Yours madly, Johnny Sampson. And I really did write like a stationary note, and Mike, you remember, you gave me like, nice stationery. Anyway, so I sent it out, and that was that. About 3 months later, I get a letter at my old studio. Hey Johnny, this came for you. Oh boy, I love getting mail. It knocked the wind out of me. The handwriting was immediately recognizable. There was his name, and there was mine. In that unmistakable Al Jaffe lettering. I mean, look at those. That's the letter. That's the envelope, right? And hands shaking, I opened the envelope. I really haven't told many people this story, so sorry. I was definitely not prepared for its contents. Fuck, man. Thank you. I think I heard a pop, actually. It said, hi, Johnny. First, I must say that Matt owes you an apology for this long-delayed reply to the mailing you sent me. All artists and writers are freelance, and sometimes months pass without any of us entering Mad's editorial offices. Every time any of us visit, we are handed a pile of fan mail. I received your package 2 days ago, but noticed the postmark was early in March. I'm so sorry, because your top-notch version of the fold-in deserved a sooner reply. I greatly admire the fold-in you've produced. Couldn't have done better myself. In fact, I think you should consider doing this more often. What I mean is, I'm in my 90s, and Mad will need someone to continue the feature. If you are in any way interested, I'll be happy to recommend you to the editorial staff. The sample you sent would be quite convincing, I think. Let me know if this interests you. Madly, Al J. I started crying as I read it aloud. My friend is standing there. Holy shit. Whoa, dude. This was the Al Jaffe asking me if I wanted to take over the Mad Fold-In when he's no longer able to do it himself. He was giving me his blessing. Is this for real? Is he serious? It was overwhelming, and still is. Truly. After freaking out for a day or two, I collected myself and wrote to him. He sent me his email with this letter. I'm still reeling. This is what I wrote to him. I said, among other things, I said, I'm still reeling at your suggestion that I take over the Fold-In. That is a task I would proudly accept. It means the world to me that I would have your blessing and encouragement. I still can't believe this. His replies were casual and friendly, but to the point. He promptly put me in contact with Sam Viviano, Madden's longtime art director. Sam wrote to me with some incredibly nice things to say about my work and touched upon a possible future with Madden, but assured me that even at 93 in 2014, there were no signs of Al slowing down anytime soon. But if you're ever in New York, come and visit us at the Palatial Mad offices. Sam. That October, Amy and I went to New York for our 10th anniversary. It was an incredible trip. Among the many New York highlights, we got an incredibly thorough tour of Mad offices by Sam himself. It was everything you could want from a Mad tour and more. I highly recommend it. It was really great. We also met with comics editor Ryan Flanders, with whom Sam gave me an impromptu portfolio review based on my website. And then he really told me, he's like, you didn't bring your portfolio? And I didn't. I fucking didn't. I was, yeah, way to go, ding dong. Okay. So, it was casual but intense. They asked me tough questions that made me reevaluate what I was doing. I could write a whole other comic about that. But, so he said, which do you see as your strength? Your painted work or your comics? I was like, I can't like them both. And there were no promises made or plans laid. However, they did both encourage me to submit new cartoons to Mad, which was reassuring. And at that moment, I was like, I need to make more funny work. Before parting ways, Sam mentioned that Al was the only Mad artist that was still based in New York City, not too far from the office. I gotta reach out to him. I may never get this chance again. Oh, man. So back at the hotel, I emailed him to say that I was in town and would love to meet for a cup of coffee, or at the very least, a quick handshake. He wrote back the next morning with his phone number and an invitation to his studio. Holy shit, this is really happening. So I called him. And soon enough, I was at his studio door. And there he was. Hi, Johnny. Good to see you. Come on in. His studio was modest size, shelves stuffed with books and binders of his work, walls filled with original art, mostly his own, but also some personal works from friends of his like Jack Davis. Whoa. I felt incredibly welcome, but still had the sense of disbelief. I felt like I was floating in a dream. This is the Fold-In Mad decided to run after it was printed. Whoa, and that's the truth. Like, he did a Fold-In. They printed, and it was about theater shootings and sequels and stuff. It was like, what sequel do we don't want to see this summer? And it coincided with like the verdict of a theater shooting, and it was like just horrible timing. They printed like 300,000 issues of this thing, and they shredded every single one and reran an old Fold-In. But he had the original hanging up in his studio. It was incredible. We sat, and he did most of the talking, which is okay by me. He basically told me a short version of his life story. How fortunate he was to work for Mad, how he still missed his friends Willie Elder and Harvey Kurtzman. He talked about rejection, his own and his friend Sparky's, Charles Schultz, who almost gave up on his strip, but had a determined agent who insisted otherwise. He talked about the power of humor, especially ridicule. He never attacked people's looks, just their words and deeds. And whoa. We talked about the ups and downs of freelancing, of balancing work and family life, even about what art supplies we used. It felt like talking to an old friend. Then he brought up my fold-in again. He said, I couldn't have done better myself. But there wasn't any further talk of me taking it over, and that's fine by me. I don't want him to stop. And he said, you and I are kindred spirits. And I was going to say the same thing! At the end, he told me that when he read my letter, he knew that above all, he wanted to give me acknowledgement. If I made something inspired by Will Eisner and sent it to him, I'd know that I'd want that acknowledgement too. And I'm so glad that he did. We then shook hands a couple times. I snapped a picture. He sent me off saying, I'll see you again. And I said goodbye to my new friend. My one regret is that when I was leaving, he asked if I wanted to use the bathroom. I declined. I could have said I'm on Jeffy's toilet. What was I thinking? Thank you. Oh, wait. So, epilogue. I mean, this may raise some questions, but maybe the epilogue will help answer some of those, right? This trip was cathartic for me. It triggered an epiphany. I was a cartoonist. And there's my visitor badge from, the DC offices of Warner Brothers. And right there it says, Johnny Sampson, cartoonist. And that's something I've never been called before. And that might sound weird to you guys, but I turned 40 that year. Like, I'd never been called that. That was just not on my radar. And that's something that I'd never been called before. And it felt good. It felt right. It also felt undeserved. I mean, hello, imposter syndrome. I mean, I really didn't have a lot to show for it. I mean, I had that Chicago poster, right? The love story, but that's fucking it. Like, that's it. So my mission from then on was to make the best damn comics I could possibly make, and that's exactly what I did. Needs more stink lines. And since then, I've been published by Mad Magazine, Vice, National Lampoon, and more. Thanks to this kick in the pants, I've made work that's been seen and enjoyed around the world. It's true. And to me, the most important part of the story is that none of it would have happened had I not reached out to one of my heroes in the first place. That set up a chain of events that far surpassed my wildest expectations. So, if you're ever on the fence about reaching out to someone you admire, go for it. You might be surprised where it takes you. And note, just to be clear, this isn't something I expect to happen. And if it doesn't, it's all good. I have total satisfaction knowing that he thought I could do it, and that's more than enough for me. Well, one more thing I couldn't help but notice about Al. He's got incredibly large feet.